Much, Kaylee. Yeah, that's scary looking stuff, man. Those those flash floods that are coming down there. But right now, let's welcome Mary O'Connell, our 3PL expert from St. Louis. Mary, what's going on, my friend?
Oh, not too much. Just, living the best St. Louis dream.
That's pretty high standards there. So let's talk about people pairing their businesses with the 3PL and how to do that effectively.
Yeah. So basically, not every customer is created equal. You're going to want to make sure that, you're really finding a customer that fits for your 3PL. So if you are a 3PL that, does high customer service and you like to dabble in oversized machinery, I maybe wouldn't go find a consumer packaged good to become a customer. So basically it's just about making a real relationship with your potential prospects and your customers, not just saying, well, you have business, I have trucks, let's get it popping. It's more about, making sure that it's a true fit, so that way it can be a real partnership and it's a relationship of something that you can actually build on and work with. And it's not just, you have freight, I have trucks, let's go.
A no-brainer, right? But when you're new to the industry, maybe you're a new broker moving on in, a lot of that can kind of go the wayside, right? You've got a manager who's saying, I don't care who you're calling, give me 100 cold calls a day. And at that point, then you lose the ability of pairing your business, if you're on the 3PL side, pairing that with good shippers. And it can get lost in translation and then kind of come back and bite you on the other side, right? So if you're a newbie to the industry and you're trying to, hit those numbers, but also make them meaningful numbers, what type of advice do you have for folks who are trying to find that little niche?
There is definitely absolutely that, like, you have to hit so many cold calls a day. You have to go find customers. You have to do this. And, it's a lot when you're first starting out as a broker, because, you have to learn. If you're new to the industry entirely, you have to, learn an entire industry and then also find customers and shippers at the same time, which is quite a lot. So the best way to start is, like, if there's already business that the 3PL is doing, or if there's already a customer that you're working on, because chances are you're helping someone out with one of their customers as well. If they're already a customer, look at where it's delivering to. If it's delivering to a retail sector, go to one of those stores, walk around. We talked about this in the podcast, the best way, or on the show today, we talked about the best way, the most creative ways to find new shippers. Go to one of the shippers. If it's a retail consumer or a store you can actually go into, go to one of those shippers and just walk the aisles. Find something, like if you are delivering to a sporting goods store, who makes the soccer balls? Go look and find the soccer balls and see if there's a customer that you can call on. You already know where they deliver to. You already know the type of freight that you're doing. To find something similar to what you already do, but is, a potential new customer, jump in there, see that. And if that one that makes the made soccer balls, doesn't really want business, that's fine. Who supplies the soccer ball manufacturer? Like, there's endless ways to figure everything out. And basically it's just about how creative do you want to get, because, you could walk the stores, you can do it in a grocery store, you can do it anywhere. Or if you have like a chemicals supplier, just call up another chemical supplier and say, hey, we already are doing this. Like, we already know how to transport chemicals. We have everything that we need. Would you be interested in it? And, suddenly you're the chemical transporter guy.
Yeah, so Mary, that's really interesting. You can get a long list of prospects doing that, right? But then when you're going into that cold meeting with those people, what are some of the things that you really need to look for background? I mean, there's important things that you need to know to make sure that it's a fit, but there's also important things that you need to know so that you prove to the customer that you actually understand their business, right?
Yeah, number one, if you are brand new to the industry and you are just making cold calls, do yourself a favor and just, before you pick up that phone to call whoever you have a lead for, before you even pick up that phone, just do a little bit of research. Maybe look up the company. Just because they have freight in the title of their name doesn't necessarily mean that they're a freight. They have freight that they move. For example, FreightWaves. We don't have freight that we necessarily move. but just do some bare minimum homework on that supplier. You know, if you found them in the grocery store, okay, well, look up some stuff about their brand, look up some stuff about, if you can find any of their transportation spend, that's great. Sometimes it's very difficult for a privately held company because they're not required to file year-end quarterly earnings. So a lot of their financial information is private, but there is other resources out there that you can use to kind of still find the baseline level transportation spend for a privately held company, whether you use a subscription based thing like a Zoom info, or if you sometimes just head to your local library. There's a lot of really great databases that you can find at a library level that are free with your library membership. So, when in doubt, if you're trying to find something, ask your librarian, but still do a little bit of homework to just figure out the baseline information about that company, because you never want to be the person that picks up the phone and says, "Hi, tell me about your business." You want to be able to pick up that phone and say, "Hey, I know that, shipping chemicals come with XYZ problems. Are you facing these problems? What are your main problems that you're facing right now in shipping?" Because we want to be able to work through that. And if you take the time to stop and listen to what their pain points are, and you've already solved it for another customer, then say, "Hey, I think we might be able to help you. Let me give you a current customer to talk to that had the same problems that you did." And that way they can figure out, you guys can talk to them and see if it really will be a good fit and if they really truly had the same problems and those problems got fixed. Your best way to get out there is referrals from your current customers.
So, Mary, on the flip side of that, if you're a shipper and you're fielding calls all day from 3PLs who are saying, "You know what, let's do business. How do you decide which one is good? Or do you just kind of Goldilocks it and try on a little bit one for size?
You'll have a lot for all of the infinite cold calls that you'll do. There will always be a lot of no's. You might not even be able to talk to the person, but I would say definitely the ones that come prepared to that first phone call, the ones that say, "Hey, I've done my homework. This is what I know about your business. Let's talk." Like, not let me tell you, but tell me about your business. The ones that say, "Hey, I know these problems that are happening with shippers that ship your type of product. Are you guys having the same problems?" The ones that come prepared are automatically a leg up. They're going to get that second phone call. And then when it comes to maybe not right away, but also persistence. I'm not talking like the creepy guy that you go on a date with that calls you and texts you every 5 minutes, but maybe just to check in. If he says, "Oh, we're not ready right now, like we're doing some stuff this quarter, maybe next quarter." All right, well, 2 months later, follow up and say, "Hey, we're about to go into the next quarter. Do you have some time to talk?" Just a persistence of but really hearing what they say, because you don't want to be that needy person that's like, "Hi, are you ready yet? Are you ready yet? Are you ready yet?" You don't want to be that person. So just make sure that you're listening to what the customer wants. And on the shipper side, if there's someone that's respecting your boundaries and your space, that's fantastic. Because again, nobody wants to be called 500 times a day. So if you get that first phone call and someone's prepared, I think that's going to go a long way, combined with someone who will actually listen, because you know how a lot of those first sales pitch calls go. You answer the phone and the other side doesn't stop talking. Like the shipper will just sit there and go, "Yeah, oh, you know nothing about my business, but you're going to save me 10% across the board. Sure you are. Have a nice day." And so I think it's really just about letting the other side, like basically hearing the shipper out. Like maybe they have problems and maybe they're happy with their current 3PL or their current managed transportation services, but just still being around, because that way someone's going to have a bad day. And if you happen to call on that day where someone else has messed up, maybe you'll get like, "Fine, you know what? You want to do this? Here's a load. Go ahead and run this and see how it goes." And then when you smash it, then, maybe you've just found yourself a new customer.
Yeah, you're right. Be ready, be prepared for that opportunity, right? Because preparation with opportunity equals luck, I guess,
Absolutely.
is what's going on there. I think a lot of it, though, is people get lazy because they do understand that they're going to get a lot of no's, and so they lose that edge in being prepared for that call. Excellent stuff, Mary. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Right now, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with more.